We are live.
Thank you, Devin.
Welcome.
All right, we will call to order the December 14th, 2020 Board of Education meeting for the Tecumseh Public Schools. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. John Benzing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. First thing on our agenda,
So we have,
possibly, I am not seeing our attorney on yet. We may have to delay that till later. Which attorney were they sending? You're muted, Rick.
Rick, you're muted.
Lisa Swem she should be in there. I just talked to her a few minutes ago to verify. She has the link, so I'll try to communicate with her here shortly.
Please do. We'll move beyond the closed session and start with the, well, that's not going to work too well because the good news is the introduction of our Director of Student Support Services, Kim Foley. Is Kim Foley here? Go ahead, Rick. I'll admit Kim here and we'll get her introduced.
There's Mrs. Foley.
Hello.
Hello, Kim. Welcome to the board meeting.
Thank you. I'm happy to be
Yes.
here. Thank you.
One of the items that was addressed in the budget revisions in November was the reinstitution of a position that Tecumseh Schools formerly had, the Director of Student Support Services. After that meeting, the position was posted. We received, I think, a total of 9 applications, and after the interview process, the recommendation of the team, supported by me, was the hire of Kim Foley. Kim is certainly no stranger to Tecumseh Public Schools, having worked here from what,
99 to 2017.
Okay. In a variety of roles, including more useful for this position, of course, her years as a special education teacher, but also a physical education teacher for the district. She has, for the last approximately 3.5 years, been working in a couple of different roles that have a lot to do with data, not only collection, but assessment and training that I think is also going to be valuable in this role. So very happy to announce that she is back home with Tecumseh Public Schools, and happy to have her here in that role.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. I look forward to meeting all of the new students and parents and families that I'll get to work with in my new role.
Thank you, Kim. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Rick, did you have any luck contacting our attorney?
Yeah, she just said, I'm in.
Let's see her.
She doesn't appear to be in the waiting room.
Well, she's in somebody's waiting room.
Yes, that would be accurate.
All right, let me send her a fresh email and
all right, well, you send her a fresh email. What I'm going to do is move on to the public comment on agenda items only. the public comment tonight, we have people introducing themselves for Milt's open board seat. So these will be introductions by the candidates for the board seat appointment. Let me bring them in here. I've got 3 of them so far, so let me bring them in. This is Zachary Stewart, it says. Let's hope the Zoom is correct. Zach, are you there?
Sorry about that. There's a delay on the live stream, so it was a little weird for a moment. Hello everyone. My name is Zachary Stewart. I'm one of the candidates seeking the open board position. I'm a proud graduate from Tecumseh High School in 2010. Since departing from Tecumseh schools, I've earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Siena Heights University, and I've cultivated a successful career in software engineering. I have 2 young children. My eldest will be attending Young Fives in the 2021 to 2022 school year, with my youngest following a few years later. With being a representative for the new generation of parents, along with my strong technical skills, I believe that I would be an asset to this board. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Stay safe and happy holidays.
Kevin, you're muted, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Zachary, thank you very much. Lisa, welcome. In your absence, we moved on with some public comments. So we'll get right to our closed session when we're finished with those. Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Lynn Davis. Good evening, Lynn. Are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, Lynn.
Okay, great. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your time. I know most of you and you know me, but I just wanted to go through this evening, maybe my reasons. And I apologize, my eye contact may not be perfect with the camera. I'm trying to read some of this, but I guess y'all know by now that my interest with the Board of Education did not stop at the election. So I lost that 3rd seat by less than 1% of the votes. So I feel like I have some decent constituent support to request to be appointed. But as all of you know, my reasons run deeper, which is why I'm here tonight. So I still will continue to believe that schools are the cornerstone of a community, maintaining its heritage and growing its future. And the school board has an important job of stewardship and vision for that. I served in 2018. Many of you probably remember me. And during that time, I took a lot of the training that MASB had available to learn about being on a school board in Michigan. So I'm ready to go day one. But I also hope during that time that I demonstrated some listening to all sides and pushing for problem solving when required. Many of you know I've worked in the auto industry for a long time, 24 years. I've also served on many boards. Those have all taught me listening, collaboration, and consensus building, all critical skills for board members. And I have extensive experience in cost optimization, budgeting, labor relations, crisis management, and community affairs. Needless to say, I've been rotated a lot at Toyota. I'm also well versed in state and federal funding sources, having advocated for both professionally. And I actually co-authored a letter that was signed by national and state leaders requesting the most recent reauthorization of the Perkins Act, which I think you all know provides technical and skills-based federal funding for programs at the elementary and high school levels. The other boards I've served on, so Junior Leagues of Ann Arbor and Cincinnati, I chaired both of their endowment programs. I also helped set up an innovative program in Cincinnati related to child and teenage mental health, and I keep in contact with those people so that I can keep kind of on top of everything that's going on in that area, which I think is important for school boards. No time more than now as we go through COVID. Currently, I sit on the board of the Great Lakes Women's Business Council. They provide small business funding and training and advocacy for women-owned businesses in Indiana and Michigan. But maybe most importantly, I am the proud parent of a 4th and a 6th grader. Both are IEP students, so I look forward to getting to know Mrs. Foley. But I also work closely with Molly and Kaylee's teachers and administrators, in identifying and meeting their goals, allowing me the privilege of developing lasting relationships within the district. So I've enjoyed getting to know all of you over the last couple of years, and I'd be honored to serve with all of you. Thank you. Did you
Thank you
not get my
very
video
much.
on that? Just so that you know, I am on video. There you go.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry about that. You think I'd be
That's
better
okay.
with Zoom. You all know what I look like, so thanks.
We do. Thank you, Lynn.
Yep.
Have a wonderful night.
Thanks.
Kevin, I sent you a link from a person who's not able to attend the meeting. One of the applicants submitted a video. Did you receive that? Mute.
Kevin, you're muted.
Sorry. Yes, I did receive it. I have it keyed up and ready to go. So as soon as we get past the live presentations, I'll key up that video. Okay.
Okay, and I have one more from another person who was not able to attend. They just sent us an email just before the meeting started. So I will read that possibly after the video is played.
All right. Hang on just a minute. Let me get, I think the last candidate in here. We do have 2 more people up in the waiting room. I lost my video. There we go. It is Danielle.
Yeah. Hi.
Danielle, welcome to the meeting tonight.
Hi,
The
thank
floor
you.
is yours.
Oh, wonderful. Well, first, I appreciate the board, the opportunity to speak tonight. My background is a lifelong resident of Tecumseh, graduated in 1993. I left for a few years. My background is a little bit different. I have a bachelor's degree in secondary education and did teach for a little while. I also have a bachelor's degree in political science and economics. I have extensive background in financial management. I guess I would say I understand this is not, I wasn't elected, like congratulations to the other 3 that were just elected in. But so I would want to know what I would think would make a good leader, a school board trustee. I think being visionary and being goal directed, building consensus and achieving collaborative outcomes, valuing diversity and equity in decision making, and understanding the need for alignment from pre-K up through college to future success and career, because the focus is always on the students and for our economic future. That's the school board's role, I believe, is leadership and vision. Using best practices and alignment and accountability and results. So I think I could bring a fresh perspective to the board, and I love my community, and I always have. So that's why I'm interested in doing this. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate again the opportunity to speak in front of the board.
Thank you very much for applying, and thank you for speaking tonight.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening,
Thank
and
you. You too.
we will talk to you soon.
Okay, wonderful.
Now we have a mystery person who I'm assuming is one of our candidates. If not, I'll probably just get Zoom bombed. So let's find out. Would this be Jeff Souls?
This is he.
Were you speaking at our public comment tonight?
No, I was not.
Huh. Well, strangely enough, you came up on my guest list for speaking tonight. So
Okay, yes, just got a notice from Lisa that Jeff is with Troon and he will be able to help us with the election later on. So,
Okay.
yeah, Jeff, if you want to hang on to that link, you're welcome
Sure.
to stick around, but we're not going to need the guidance until a little bit later in the meeting.
Okay.
Jeff, you're welcome to just sit by and watch, or if you like, I can put you back in the waiting room. It doesn't matter to me. It'll be your choice.
Go ahead and put me back. Yeah, you guys can deal with your closed session stuff.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. I know who Jeff Souls is now. That puts us to our last speaker, who isn't a candidate for the appointment because he's soon to be a board member. See if we can get him on here. Greg, are you with us? Uh-oh. Greg, can you hear us? Greg, can you hear us? All right, he's unmuted. Greg, can you hear us? Well, let's do this. Rick, you had a statement. Somebody sent you an email with a statement to read, correct? Rick?
Say that again?
Someone
Look.
sent you an
Yeah,
email
yeah.
that
I'm
couldn't
sorry.
make it.
Got
How would you like to read that? And we'll see if Greg can get up and running here.
Okay. So this came to us at the very last minute. This is from Jesse Pizzagna, who was one of the applicants for the board seat. He writes and says, I have been a Tecumseh community member my whole life. I went to TPS until I graduated in 2009. My passion for this school has been unchanged ever since. I'm currently the chair of the Community Learning Connections and love how the CLC supports TPS students in many ways. My interest in this position is simple. I'm passionate about our community, and within our community is a school system that currently has its future leaders within it. Children at all ages deserve an advocate for them and their teachers. I feel in order to fully represent the community, you have to have various backgrounds, including ethnicity, educational background, and the businesses you work for. I am a market manager at Old National Bank, where I oversee 5 offices spanning Jackson, Lenawee, and Monroe counties. My experience in the community banking realm, I feel, will also bring added value. The Tecumseh community has done so much for my family, and I know I owe it to the community to give back. Thank you for considering me. Jesse Pizzagna.
Thank you, Jesse, via Rick. Let's see. Greg, are you with us now? Well, unfortunately, can't get Greg to go live here, so we're not going to be able to hear from him. Let's give him another minute. Give me just a second, and I will key up a video from one of the candidates.
I'm not getting the audio, Kevin.
Good evening, school board and Dr. Hilderly. Thanks for the time to let me talk to you this evening about my interest to join the school board. First, my name is Chris Peoples and I live in the district. We've lived in the area for about 2 years, and it's just a great opportunity that I can be here and talk to you tonight. So you may be wondering, why would I like to join the school board? It's been something that's been on my mind for many years. It's a part of a way that I can give back to the community, and quite frankly, I enjoy education. I think it is one of the most important things that we do as a human being. Continue to learn. The moment that we stop learning is the moment where we become stale, stagnant, and we stop in many ways contributing to our community. And so I want to talk to you 4 reasons why I think quality education is important. The first one is quality education means that uh, there's not a universal practice. One size does not fit every student because every student is unique. Some students are auditory learners, some students are visual learners, and some students learn by books. Some students learn great on a computer, and some students learn great in a classroom. And so, as we pursue quality education, we recognize that there is not one universal method that fits all. Quality education means that every student has a role to play in the future. And I believe the best schools help students identify their role in the community in their future. What are they best at? And then helps the student at whatever age level they are currently in. They help that student develop their skills so they can be productive. There are certain things elementary students need to know to be productive in middle school, and you're well aware of that. I spent 2 years in a fifth grade classroom, and I saw every day fifth graders experiment with different life practices and different life principles. And when they discovered what they were good at, it was um, something that we celebrated in the classroom. Quality education allows future generations to be successful in every area of life. Critical thinking, social skills, psychological sharpness. There are many, many reasons why a quality education, an education that pushes the student to excel the best that they're able, um, it gives them an edge on the future of their life. And then lastly, quality education assists our community to continually evolve, to meet the needs, to meet the demands of an ever changing world. Uh, we're not the same world we were probably even a year ago. We're definitely not the same world that we we were 5 years ago. We're not the same school district we were when uh, I put our kids in the district in January of 2019. And our district has done a really good job of evolving to meet the needs in an ever changing world. And I would love the opportunity to be part of that. And so um, I want to just thank you for the time to hear me out tonight. Thanking you for the time that I can spend with you this evening, even by video. I'm sorry that I could not be here tonight. I had a prior commitment, and so I just want to thank you for what you do in our community, um, in very very hard, trying to times. There is not one decision that will make everyone happy, and so I want to applaud you in your effort. So thanks so much for hearing me out. I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. And now we have One more in the waiting room. Mary, are you with us?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. I sent a letter to.
And now we have one more in the waiting room.
Go ahead, Mary. We can hear you.
Thanks. Yes, thanks. I sent a letter to Kevin Johnson about a week ago to express my interest in being in the school on the school board to assume Milt Albert's position. I have been an educator for some 30 plus years, mostly in Tecumseh, a little while with the Lenawee Intermediate School District. I am very interested in compromise and collaboration. I think I know the educational challenges that present Tecumseh Public Schools. I care very much about our community, and I know that I would work very hard. I think I have a good track record with work ethic and working hard and thinking out of the box. So if that's the kind of person that you're interested in, I care very much about our students, about our parents, and about our community. And I'd love to make a difference on the school board. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Mary. Have a great evening.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, I've got Mr. Lewis on the phone, and his meeting link is just not connecting for him. So told him we could try it this way if you can hear him. Is that all right?
That would be fine with me. He just popped back up in the waiting room. Would you like me to try to hook him up first, or
Yeah,
you just want to go straight to the phone?
Yeah, see if that lets him in. Okay, he's getting failure to connect messages on his end. So we'll just do it through the analog version here.
Give it a go.
All right, Mr. Lewis, fire away.
Okay, thank you very much, Ward and everybody else, Mr. Hilderly. I think this year, with the absence of Bill Abbott, his resignation last month, this gives us a different scenario than we would have in other years. You know, thanks to all the people who I just listened to, who volunteered to come in and fill the seat. I think the difference this year is we just had an election where there were 5 people that applied for 3 seats. The electorate spoke in that time, and to me, there's only one other solution you can really have, and that would be to put Mrs. Davis in there because she was the next person in line in the election process. I know I feel bad saying that because I know some of the people who've already spoke tonight. I remember when they were students. Mary Tomlin was a colleague, but the case that happened this year in 2020, we did have the election, and the people had a chance to put their opinion forward, and they did that. And I think if we do anything other than put Lynn Davis in there, I think it causes more problems for us than we needed at this point. I think we go against the electorate, and I think that's not good. It's not a good look for Tecumseh Public Schools. That's not good press for us going forward. I don't have any real opinion on who it is other than just following the election process. And I guess what sensitizes me to all that is what we're watching going on right now at a national level with our presidential election. I mean, we have a clear process, and if we follow it and we believe in it, that process has been conducted. We just need to follow it. And I certainly have no reason to favor one person over another. I just favor the process in this case. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Greg. All right, I think that wraps up everybody we had for our public comment period. So with that, we're going to reshuffle and drop back to our closed session. Becky?
So just a matter of housekeeping. There is a clerical error on the adjournment to closed session that actually should not be collective bargaining. It should be attorney-client privilege, section 8H, not 8C. So as we call for that adjournment, please note that that is a correction to make. So I move that we adjourn to closed session pursuant to PA 267 of 1972, section 8H, for the purpose of attorney-client privilege.
We have support?
Support.
Thank you, John. Roll call. Becky?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Unmute.
Unmute.
Is there going to be a discussion first, Kevin? For roll call?
Would you like?
I am unmuted.
Well, we can't discuss what
can't hear
happens in the closed session. We can discuss the need for the closed session,
Right.
but nothing goes on in there. Did you
Right.
want to debate the need for it?
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, I'd like to have a discussion first before we vote to go to closed session. Considering we just got this contract and the board has had no input on it, I'm not sure that attorney-client privilege is necessary at this point, because the board has not met to discuss this in closed session as a strategy, negotiation strategy. So instead of, we haven't discussed this contract at all. We just got it. So I prefer to go into session to talk about the strategy of the contract, because there's lots of things that in there I'd like to talk about and negotiate. But I don't feel that we need to spend money with a lawyer right now until we get a final contract. And your email to me, Kevin, said that the TAA hasn't even established yet. So I'm not sure so.
Specifically, what has happened is a contract the district used to hold was set aside by previous administration. That contract was not rewritten. It was updated and changed a bit by a third party. And we sent it back to the original author, which is True Law, for them to review the contract and give us their legal opinion of the contract and any recommended changes, which is why we were having this closed session, was solely to get the legal opinion, the evaluation from True Law, and they can answer any questions we may have about amending the contract or any questions we may have about using the contract going forward. So it's not really not to negotiate the contract, it's to get the legal counsel to evaluate the contract and provide us with their legal opinion of the contract, seeing as it was an older contract that was mothballed, updated by somebody else, and then reviewed by the original author. That's the reason for the closed session.
Kevin, I want to submit for the board that it is legal and possible to go into closed session for both reasons simultaneously.
Okay. Yep. Then I'd say we go in for both reasons. So.
Oh, we're going in for attorney-client privilege.
Okay. And I add that we go in for, let me pull up the agenda to add to it.
It's simply attorney-client privilege.
Okay, so I'm going to amend the motion for the purpose of attorney-client privilege and for the purpose of strategy negotiation sessions connected with a collective bargaining agreement.
Well, before we complicate the motion, Lisa, could you weigh in on this? Is it necessary to further the or amend the motion, or are we okay just going in for attorney-client privilege as a broader umbrella to cover both topics or anything that might transpire from the discussion of the contract?
Okay. Can folks hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I prepared an opinion letter about a specific issue in that contract. my opinion letter is not a complete contract review. So to go into closed session to review the issue which I prepared in my opinion letter, you would need to go into closed session pursuant to section 8H, attorney-client privilege. Now, it is my understanding that you are also bargaining with the Administrators Association, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because you are currently bargaining with the Administrators Association, you may also go into closed session pursuant to section 8C, which is collective bargaining strategy. And my remains to be seen whether my opinion will affect that strategy. But they are two different provisions under the Open Meetings Act to go into closed session. They are both appropriate at this point. And I, as your counsel, am legally comfortable with you going into closed session for both purposes. 8C, negotiations, 8H, attorney-client privilege communication.
Okay. Rick, has the association officially been set up? Have they formed an association? That would be my one question before we move on. Are we bargaining with an association and a collective bargaining agreement, or have they not legally formed an association and elected officers and such?
They have not formed an association with officers and collected dues. That would take place once the recognition of the board and the contract takes place.
Lisa, we're still okay to go in for a collective bargaining agreement even without the formation of the association yet?
Out of an abundance of caution, I think the best approach for closed session is 8H then, which is the attorney-client privilege. If we don't have an association yet formed, that might be argued that it's premature for that bargaining strategy. On the other hand, someone might argue that, well, if it's inevitable, it's pending, and you're going to have that session of bargaining eventually, that may not be an absolute preclusion. I don't know the details about the association and its attempts to form. But someone, on the other hand, someone could argue, well, if there's no association, how can you go negotiate or go into strategy session for negotiations?
So to boil that down, for an abundance of caution, your recommendation is to go in under 8H only.
Correct. Okay. Courts are told to interpret the Michigan Open Meetings Act towards broadness and the closed session purposes narrowly. You have my opinion letter that allows you to go into closed session under section 8H. It does address an issue related to that collective bargaining agreement. That's my recommendation.
Thank you very much, Lisa. All right, Tim, you can make the motion to amend it to go in under both 8H and 8C. However, it is not recommended by our council at this time.
Yeah, and then, I would say we don't even go into closed session because we don't even have an association set up yet to even deal with the letter, because everything could change after we go into closed session for negotiation and strategy once the association is set up. So at this point, I would say that we don't go into closed session because, like Lisa said, it could change. Her opinion could change after we have a strategy session of negotiation.
Now, I want to clarify, Tim, that's not what I said. My opinion is my opinion. And it's based on the question posed and the document put before me.
Right, that's what I was trying to refer to. So
Oh,
is that
okay.
it could change. So we might just be wasting time and money right now.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to call the question and let's move on. We're wasting time.
I agree. Let's vote.
We've got one for call the question and support. Voting for calling the question. Becky,
Aye.
call the question. Suzanne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Tim.
No.
The chair votes aye. The question is called. Roll call vote. Becky, please reread the motion.
I move that we adjourn to closed session pursuant to PA 267 of 1972, Section 8H for attorney-client privilege.
We had support for that. We will take roll call vote clean. Becky,
Aye.
Suzanne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Tim,
No.
Ed.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. We will go into closed session at 7. It'll be 7:44 by the time we make it in. I have a breakout room set up. Let me get everybody in there and verify that the live feed is clean. Devin, is our live stream clean? No contamination from the members in the breakout room.
Just waiting on the usual YouTube lag. And other than you, yes.
Thank you. We shall return soon.
I think I landed safely.
That's questionable.
Hey,
That whole process is very Harry Potter.
Whatever.
I like that.
So,
Terry, let the record show the board returned from closed session at 7:57, please. And Len, that brings us to our agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda as written or revisions for the agenda?
I actually need to make a revision. I need to add a report of the LCASB meeting that I attended on the 11th.
Under scheduled reports, I assume.
I think that's best, if that's okay.
okay.
So I will make a motion to add my report under scheduled reports for the LCASB meeting.
Okay, the discussion we were having about the contracts with the TA that we just were talking about, is that, I'm trying to look at the agenda right now. Is there a place for us to continue the discussion of whether or not
Yes.
we need to be talking? Where's it at?
That is already our second item on discussions tonight, so it's already in there.
Oh gosh, okay, I didn't see it. I was just
It's not a real clear statement. So yeah, I get you, Ed.
got it. I just wanted to know we were going to still talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So there's a motion.
All right. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you, John. Roll call for the amendment. Suzanne?
aye.
Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The agenda is revised to add Becky's report. And you know what? I didn't phrase that properly. Could I get a motion to approve the revised agenda now, please?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. One more roll call. Suzanne?
Aye.
Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The agenda is approved as revised. That'll bring us to our scheduled reports. Kelly Glenn is up first with the monthly finance report. Kelly?
Good evening, board. As of the end of November 30th, 2020, cash on hand was $10,284,671.98. Total checks issued for the month of November is $714,662.77. The board also received the detail revenue report, the detail expenditure report. The total revenue for the period July 1st through November 30th is $7,808,237.89. And total expenditures for that same time period is $8,278,112.97. Does the board have any questions?
I have two.
Okay.
John, you're up.
I went through the check register. Most of the stuff made sense. Tremco looks like a sealant company. We spent about $16,000 with them.
And what's your question regarding that, John? You want to know what exactly they did?
Yeah, what we did with it.
Okay, I don't know off the top of my head, but I can certainly get that out and inform the entire board on what services they provided.
And then Khajiit looks like, that's something, did we spend COVID money on that upgrade to our web services?
Right. Yes, Khajiit is actually hotspots for students, and that was COVID money.
All right, perfect. And then Amazon Capital Services, do we have an Amazon credit card that we use?
We do not, but we do have an Amazon line of credit.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Do we know I'm assuming that's school supplies that we're using with Amazon?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Any other board member questions for Kelly?
And then the 200,000 for something fly. Can't remember the name of it.
Firefly computers.
Firefly. Yeah. What was all that for?
Those were Chromebooks for students. And that was also the CARES Relief Act money.
Didn't we vote on that back in October or in August or September or something?
In July, we had a special meeting for, I think it was like 120,000 or something that we voted
Yeah,
on.
we had, oh boy. I think we had 2 Chromebook purchases, a computer purchase, and a tablet purchase. Rick, do you have all that at hand or well in memory, or perhaps Devin would remember?
Yeah, I think that your breakdown was appropriate. The Chromebooks for students and then the Chrome tablets for the K2 kids that we talked about. And then we were also able to address teacher laptops in one of those purchases.
And this was all COVID money, correct?
It was.
Yes.
It was all from the COVID grant.
Yep. Perfect.
Can we get a breakdown of everything that was spent in that COVID grant?
Yeah, I provided that breakdown earlier today in an email to Kevin. So if you can share that out, Kevin, or I can have Terry send it out.
I'm sorry, I thought you did share it out to the rest of the board, but sure. Terry, could you please send that out to the rest of the board also?
Yes, I can.
Thank you, Terry.
And that's use it or lose it money, correct, Rick? If we don't spend it, we don't get it, right?
Yeah, and it's outside the general fund expenses. It's treated like a grant. It doesn't have the same bid requirements, things. And especially with the technology orders, given that most of the rest of the world was doing the same thing, speed was of the essence. In fact, one of the orders that was filled was the delivery date was not until sometime around now, but a district somewhere canceled, and Devin checked in regularly with the vendor, and they offered us the devices earlier than their delivery date. So we lucked out on those were the tablets.
Yeah, I think the other issue we ran into is every day that we delayed, that point where we would actually get the devices went out further and further. So it was definitely something we had to rush to get done.
Yes.
If we have any money left over, can we use it for 21 year?
So the federal CARES Act money the district received has a time frame that had to be used by December 30th of 2020, unless the federal government extends that. As of right now, they have not. But that was certainly in discussions.
Okay.
Any further questions for Kelly? All right, then we will move on to our next scheduled report, which is Ms. Brooks.
So on the 11th, I attended the Lenawee County Association of School Boards meeting. And the discussion, of course, was mostly about COVID and schools and how everyone was kind of dealing with everything. The meeting itself was quite short, and then we rolled into a meeting with the Representative Colley and Senator Wahlberg. Wahlberg? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had some trouble connecting to us, but we did finally get in with him. But the real takeaway from it was pretty much district-wide, statewide, likely countrywide. The people are trying to find how to do evaluations, like the ratio to use for teacher evals, student evaluations, superintendent evaluations, because the information that is usually used is how students are progressing. And right now, there's just not a fair bar for that. So that was the main part of the discussion is what is the right ratio to use this year for those, the bar that's going to be set for those evaluations. So that was a big part of the discussion. It's a discussion going on at the state level. And as I said, surely the national level. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Becky. On to our discussion items. First up is a donation. Rick?
We talk about this from time to time. Tecumseh is fortunate in so many ways, and one of the great things that goes on in this community is the support for the arts. The Elizabeth Ruthruff Wilson Foundation is one of those big supporters in our community, and from time to time, we benefit from that with program donations for our visual and music arts programs. This $2,000 donation is for the music programs. And I recommend approval later in the agenda with the thanks of the board.
Rick, thank you. Next discussion item is the Tecumseh Administrators Association contract. So I will lead off with a quick swing here, Rick. I think the greatest concern for the board is that there is no association yet. This is probably something we'll want to push out to our attorney's office and such, but it's hard to imagine that we're going to be able to enter into an agreement with a non-existent corporate or association.
Right. So I texted Lisa on our way back into the open meeting, and I asked if it was advisable to suggest that the board ratify the contract pending the formation of the TAA. She recommends against it. So I will reach out back to the administrators and have them submit a formal application as an association for the board to consider at the next meeting.
Okay, so they currently under contract, individual contracts, is that correct?
They are.
Okay, so, and how long have they been on individual contracts?
The last year that the TAA existed was 2013 and 14.
And why did they cease to exist?
Well, I was actually the president of the TAA at the time that it was dissolved. And it was agreed to at that time by the administrators because the superintendent at that time said that individual contracts could more easily be addressed by her and through the board. And upon my return, as I said to the district, the administrators were not happy with that agreement and asked to reorganize, as I have stated in my updates. And then I think the board received also a verification email from Mr. Lewis that when he was the interim superintendent in the summer of 2019, that he began talking with the group and had the old contract looked at by legal through the ISD to have updates to language. So the process was started previously. When I came on board, the group advised me that they had been in talks, that really the only outstanding work that had to be done was financial. So I told them that we would have to be in a better financial position before we could address that. And after that position was discovered to be relatively healthy this fall, we talked again, talked about a salary schedule. We plugged the salary schedule numbers into the revised budget. Provided that information for the board members to take a look at. And then once the revised budget was passed, then we plugged the salary schedule into the language changes that had been done through the process that I described. And it's only as a matter of bad advice from their superintendent. I told the association that they would have to form after the contract was ratified, and our legal opinion tonight tells us differently. So I will have the administrators form that association formally and make that application so that I can present it to the board.
Well, they would form their association and then start negotiations with you on that contract, and then you would present it to the board for our ratification.
Correct.
Okay, makes sense.
Sorry, John?
Two quick things, Rick. I'm assuming that all the administrators are happy about this process and support it.
Yes, all of them are on board and excited. They are very interested in a salary schedule that guarantees fair and equitable treatment.
And the second thing, I'll just remind my other board members, when we first got on this board, we had to deal with a mess of, several employees who were, in the midst of contracts that didn't agree with the entire group. And, I think having something like this would alleviate those problems in the future.
Yeah, I think a salary schedule is good. But there's some other things in the contract I think that we should talk about before we sign it. So
right,
that could have ramifications on the road for other contracts. So
yeah, I know I'm not going to be around down the road on this, but the teacher contract, okay, and I haven't kept up on what's going on. Is there still they've taken that salary schedule to the steps and all that out of there pretty much? It's still
Yes.
so that never got changed back after we changed it back when we were on the board.
No, the teachers are still on a wage-based contract. We negotiated last year. There was a salary schedule that was submitted. During those negotiations, it was determined that it was best if we just rolled the contract forward for 1 year. So the issue of a schedule will come up again with the TEA in negotiations this spring.
But that was, again, the way that was all set up back in the day was that a teacher isn't just going to hang around for another year and get paid more and hang around for another year and get paid more. It's not GM or Ford, okay? And the idea was that if your evaluation was up to par, then you got the raise. If you got your education, you got the raise. And if you didn't, then you didn't get the raise. So, I mean, again, following the same suit with a TEA, if there's an issue with somebody not doing their job, then just because they hung around and still have their job doesn't mean necessarily that they get as good a raise. Now, that's all part of your negotiations. I understand that, but it should kind of fall suit with what they're doing for the teachers.
I would agree that a good contract, collectively bargained, or an employee contract that's adhered to is beneficial for the employees. It provides equity. It sets the expectations and the rewards and consequences. It's also beneficial for the employer because it does the exact same thing. There does need to be some latitude in the wages. Performance evaluations have to be considered. However, there still needs to be a wage scale that's modified or enhanced by performance evaluations, et cetera. I think it's a tricky blend, but once we have an association and we start getting into the meat of it, then there's really nothing we can do at this point until we have an association and some sort of negotiation or talks occur. I think that's the legal sticking point, is we know that we're doing the right thing, putting it back in, but we just have to make sure we have the steps right, that we don't get the horse, too far behind the wagon, or the wagon too far in front of the horse, however you'd like to look at it. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
we'll take care of that.
All right. If I don't hear any more on that, we are moving on to our extended continuity of learning plan.
So as you are fully aware, every 30 days at least, the board needs to reevaluate the extended continuity of learning plan and verify the modes of instruction that are going to be offered. So I continue to recommend the 3 modes of instruction: face-to-face, distance learning, and the virtual academy. There is one other aspect of the plan that I would like to suggest a modification, because the CDC guidelines for quarantine have been updated and have now been adopted by the local health department to be a 10-day quarantine with the final 4 days additional to be monitoring symptoms. We have been imposing a full 14-day quarantine for students or staff, and the new guidelines are, as stated, 10 days plus 4 for monitoring symptoms. In communication with county superintendents and discussion with the health department, Lenawee County Schools are moving to that recommendation from the health department based on the CDC guidelines. So that would be one change that I would recommend the board make in the continuity of learning plan when it is taken action later in the meeting.
I have a question. What exactly does that mean? I mean, you went from 14. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So is it still 14 days of no school, or do you come back to school after 10 days?
Come back for 10 days and monitor symptoms.
Okay. Got it.
No additional testing to see if they've got a negative result?
There is another plan that says that that can be shortened to 7 days. The testing has to take place after day 4 and has to come back negative, and then the quarantine can be shortened to 7 days. However, it's not easy to get a test back in 3 days, so you'd likely end up serving the full 10 anyway.
Right.
But that is not something that I would recommend for full approval, especially for anybody who might be in the large group setting. There may be some employees that approach would be valuable for, say, for instance, a second shift custodian or somebody who's not necessarily in direct contact with the large group. There might be some situations where that 7-day with a negative test could work. But like I said, the testing is recommended after day 4, and getting results back is not that easy. So
yeah.
For the students and staff, my recommendation is to go with the 10-day with 4 days additional of monitoring symptoms.
We just went through a situation with our business with a COVID positive employee and went home. We all got tested. I got tested Thursday up in Saline, had my results Friday. So, I mean, it just depends on where you're going for the results. And most of my employees went up there and got tested, and they all came back the next day with a negative. So it's where you go mostly.
Yeah, local testing has been running about 5 days.
Right. That's terrible. Yeah.
So that's
All right,
my
any
only
further-
recommended change to the extended continuity of learning plan is just the update in the health department's recommendation for quarantine.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for Rick on this? All right, that's going to take us to our next discussion item. Matthew Heiser is here from True Law. Good evening, Matthew. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. He will be here for any board questions. I am going to recuse myself from this discussion, being as I am one of the applicants for the open board seat. You all should have received my application from Rick earlier, so I will recuse myself. Becky, would you like to temporarily take the seat, take the chair for the discussion?
Don't know if I'd like to, but I guess I will.
Thank you, Becky.
So the floor is open for discussion.
Well, I have a question on whether it's legal for Kevin to actually, because he's on the board right now.
We've already taken care of this, Tim, and it's already been addressed multiple times, so it is legal. There was a letter sent out today from Rick, but it's been thoroughly vetted and legal.
Well, I was on the MSAB site and
It's been
actually
thoroughly vetted and legal.
Can we ask Matthew, please?
Yes. Yep.
Matthew, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand what the question is.
Whether or
Matthew-
not Kevin Johnson, sitting board member, can apply for this open seat, and of course, he take over January 1st.
Yes, and if there's a motion that Kevin be appointed, Kevin should abstain from voting on the
Correct.
motion.
Correct.
So would he have to resign first? Because it says
No.
it says after 3 days after the appointment is made, the secretary of the board must notify the school district election coordinator in writing of the name, address, and office of the person who vacated the office, as well as the person filling the office. The newly appointed board member must file an acceptance of office within 10 days after the appointment and take the oath of office prescribed by law.
Yes, he would have to resign before he took the oath and took the seat to which he was appointed.
Okay, so he could be voted on tonight and then resign later.
Yes.
Okay.
Why would he need to resign? Couldn't he just wait? I mean, he's going to serve his term and he doesn't start the other term until the end of the year. Or no?
Yeah, to the extent that
Would he even need time?
And just for clarity, currently, I think Ed is on our list too, isn't he?
Me?
Yes.
No.
I at one time I said something about it, but no, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that, because if you were, then that changes things up too. So I just wanted to be clear
Yeah.
on that. So you are not on our list.
No, my wife would divorce me. So okay.
We can't have that.
3 months was bad enough. Okay. So
Oh my goodness. Okay, I just wanted to make that point of clarification, Ed. Thank you. So we have other candidates. Is there anyone else that we would like to discuss?
Yeah, I agree with what Greg said earlier. Lynn Davis, was what, I think 0.5% behind you, Becky, in the election. And I think the voters have spoken. And I think that, if we don't listen to them, then it's not going to be good going forward. So it's going to be very bad publicity. So.
Well, there is that point, and I certainly respect that. We have a lot of amazing candidates.
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
certainly like to
Yeah.
point that out.
Yep.
And I think it's really interesting how we, we just came out of an election with five people running, and we had 9 people respond in total, even though they didn't all stay with it. That's awesome that many people are looking to come out and support their community and their school, and I think that's amazing. I would also point out that there is an election coming up. So next year, there will be 2 seats opening up. And I hope those people take that opportunity. You would have to be in touch with Raisin Township by mid-July to put yourself on the ballot. And as I said, there would be 2 seats that will be voted on next November. So hopefully those folks that are not successful this evening will take that opportunity.
Who are the 2 seats?
Milt seat. So Milt
Okay,
had
so
1 year.
This would be just 1 year, right?
Right. So this is a 1-year appointment. This isn't an election. This is an appointment. And Suzanne. And I don't know if she's going to run again or not. So I think she's a little bit ready for retirement too.
Terry, I just want to clarify that. I thought that we noticed that Milt's seat expired in December of 22.
That is what the vote of canvassers said, and I believe that is true, 2022.
Really?
Does that mean mine 2022 as well?
We should double check that because
6 years
it was 3 of us 2 years, 2 of us 3 years, and then 2 6 years. So let's double check that because that was something I paid pretty close attention to.
See, I thought the original law was you could only have school board elections every other year, every 2 years.
Yep, it is.
It is. So next year doesn't happen. It's 2 years from now that it happens.
Correct. 2022.
My mistake. That was not the way that we understood it when we.
Suzanne, you're stuck for 1 more year.
Sorry, girl.
2 more. 2 more.
I think we misunderstood.
One more year beyond what she thought for a minute. Yeah. Jeez.
I think we misunderstood that because we all thought it was what I just described. So I apologize for that. So that it doesn't really change anything, but except the fact that make it 2 years, folks. My bad. So anyway, as I said, great candidates. A lot going on in the district at this time, restructuring, that sort of thing. So lots to think about, folks.
I really appreciated all the people and all the videos, and there's a lot of really great people that applied, and I agree with you, Becky. I hope that some of them apply for in 2 years and actually run for office. And
right.
There was a lot of, I appreciated everybody's videos and Zachary the engineer.
Yeah, it's nice seeing, younger parents come out and get involved. That's awesome.
I guess I just want to say I personally am looking for the smoothest transition. We've been through a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, and the school has too. So those are my thoughts going into it, and that's how I'm going to approach it. Most qualified, easiest transition, smoothest, which to me would be best for the school and everybody. But that's kind of my thoughts. But there's a lot of qualified, good people.
Of course.
And I thank them all.
All right.
Just to describe the process, and Matt is here now, so perhaps we can go over that now, and then he could exit the meeting. But when we get to the action items, a member would have to submit a motion in favor of a candidate. There would have to be a second, and then a roll call vote, and a majority of the voting members would carry the motion. If there's not a majority of the members voting, then the motion dies and a new motion would be entertained. Is that correct, Matt?
That is correct.
Any other questions about the process for Matt? Because we could let him go
Kevin.
and not have him stick around.
Kevin would have to abstain from voting for himself, correct?
If a motion is made to appoint Kevin, Kevin would have to abstain from that vote, but Kevin would have voting rights for any other candidates submittal.
Okay. And when you say majority, is that 4 out of 7, or there's really only 5 or 6 of us sitting here?
If there are 5 voting members, majority is 3. If there are 6 voting members, the majority is 4.
Got it.
Any other questions for Mr. Heiser?
Thank you, Mr. Heiser.
Okay,
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
okay. Good luck with your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Need to welcome Kevin back to the gavel.
Thank you for taking the chair, Becky. Next item on our discussion is the December 21st, 2020 board meeting. Rick, I think we've discussed that with the continuity of learning plan tonight, that takes care of any official legally required business we have to take care of. So the discussion is, should we have a meeting next week on Monday? Or do we need to have this meeting next week on Monday?
Right, many times in December, the board will decide to not have the second meeting close to the holiday based on member availability or issues in the district. So the only thing that I would suggest that may need to be addressed would be the administrative contract issue. But if it's something that the board would rather moved to a January meeting, then that's up to the will of the board. I wanted to put on a discussion because the second December meeting is sometimes not held if all of the business for the month has been completed.
All right, I would personally like to see the Administrators Association formed and to have some discussion about that contract. I don't think we need to do it next week. I think it would be rushed. Even if they could get the association formed in 1 week, I think that's just rushing things before Christmas. It's not going to change anything drastic for them, I don't believe, Rick, whether we do it before Christmas or after Christmas, right? So that's
just the
something that's
language
probably
issues.
more appropriate.
Right, just the language issues. The salary's already been addressed in the budget. So it's a matter of agreeing to the language in the contract at this point.
All right.
So is that going to be
Any other thoughts?
Is that going to be a vote later to not have it?
Probably you can just remove it as an action item at this time.
Mhm.
All I can say is yippee.
You
My
mean
last board
add?
meeting.
Cookies. You're gonna have to come back for cookies, Ed.
Someday.
I think what Ed was saying is that we would need to add it as an action item if we are going to remove it. I think that's what you were going for, wasn't it, Ed?
Right, that's what I was going for, yeah.
Okay. So do we want to add that as an action item?
Yes.
So I will make that motion that we will add a vote for removing the December 21st, 2020 board meeting into action items, please.
I second that.
Easy, Ed. Slow down. Slow down.
All right, okay, I'll see you.
He's got 1 foot out the door
Yeah.
and 1 foot in the back.
You got at least 10 more minutes.
10? Is that all?
All right. That was all the discussion on next week's meeting, correct?
Do we need a vote for that motion?
Board members will have the right to make the motion without voting on it at this point. We won't amend the agenda. We'll take it as a motion. All right, last item on our discussion, delayed superintendent evaluation process. Rick, bring us up to speed.
Well, we had it on as a report item last month. I communicated with the board because MASB reached out and said that they were not sending their consultants out, and it was not considered to be something that they wanted to do necessarily in a virtual meeting. So I had President Johnson straw poll the board members if it was okay to put off the evaluation. It only needs to be finished and recorded by July 30th. Our calendar was January to December. Another item of impacting it was having student growth data because testing was nullified last spring due to the pandemic. There is no pre and post data within the term of my administration. So for those reasons, the evaluation process was put off until potentially May. And that is what I reported on last week. If members would like to consider any alteration to that schedule, tonight would be the time to talk about it.
All right. Ed, I can see you already going, I don't care. Okay. Any of the other board members? You're muted, Ed.
Yeah, I see it. Even if I was, if we were going to do this, I haven't been around, Rick long enough to evaluate him on the different issues anyway. So would be much better to have it done by other board members that are going to be around him for the next 4 or 5 months before it comes due. So my vote is yes, but whatever, he's doing a great job.
All right.
Thanks, Ed.
Other board members?
I was just going to refer back to my earlier report. I mean, this is a problem going across the county, across the state. So those numbers are just not numbers that anybody wants to use right now with the testing suspension and all that kind of stuff. So I think we need to wait till we can do a fair evaluation.
John?
I'll just add that, I think it's important that we have the MASB there to help guide us through this, because for many of us, this will be our first evaluation with the superintendent. So I don't think it makes sense to try to do it without that guidance.
And it is a rather in-depth document with, I think it's intended to be led or guided by the MASB. I don't know as they really intend for anybody to go it on their own.
Right.
Yeah, it's intended to be a facilitated process, and in places where superintendents and boards are very familiar with each other and have worked together, a lot of times the superintendent will facilitate the conversation. But until the board and the superintendent are used to the process, the MASB consultant is the best person to guide the group.
All right then. Any other discussion? The room's gone quiet. They'll bring us right into our action items for tonight. Becky, would you like to lead off? Say again.
Becky.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Suzanne, are you reading the action items tonight, Suzanne? No?
It wouldn't unmute. Sorry, I just got it. So I don't know what.
Okay.
Clicking it wouldn't go. My apologies for that delay. Got him here. So I hereby move to approve the annual summer tax resolution pursuant to 1976 Public Act 451 as amended, which invokes for 2021 its previously adopted ongoing resolution imposing a summer tax levy of 100% of annual school property taxes, including debt service, upon property located within the district and continuing from year to year until specifically revoked by the board, and requests that each city and or township in which the district is located collect those summer taxes.
Support.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. Next,
I hereby move to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance and delegating the sale of Tecumseh Public Schools 2021 refunding bonds as presented.
Support.
again, roll call. Becky?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Unanimous. Becky?
I hereby move to accept with thanks the $2,000 donation from the Elizabeth Wilson Foundation, with said funds being distributed equally between the band and orchestra programs at TPS.
Support.
Roll call. Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
The chair votes aye with thanks. Passes. Unanimously accepted. Ms. Brooks?
I hereby move to approve the master agreement document between the Tecumseh Public, oh,
Wait a minute, we're not doing that.
Remove.
Wait.
remove that.
Need a motion to remove that.
Second. Thank you. My apologies. That would
Roll
take.
call to remove it.
Oh.
Did you, you made a motion to remove? We had a
Suzanne
second?
did.
Yes.
Yep.
I did.
Roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. That is removed from our action items.
Okay. To the next one. I hereby move to approve the continuity of the district's extended continuity of learning plan for the month of December 2020 as presented, which was originally approved by the Board of Education in September 2020, and further acknowledge the district's pupil account process, which provides for two-way communication with students. The board also directs administrations to post and submit said plan as required by MDE. Did we need to make a correction on that, Rick?
Yes. The
You
addition,
just want to add the recommended change in the updated quarantine guidelines.
I'll reread. One moment, please.
And I will say for you accountants that the math is now correct in that monthly attendance sheet.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
won't take credit for it, but it's fixed.
but it's fixed. So let me reread that one then. I hereby move to approve the continuity of the district's extended continuity of learning plan for the month of December 2020 as presented, which was originally approved by the Board of Education in September 2020, and further acknowledge the district's pupil account process, which provides for two-way communication with students. The board also directs the administration to post and submit said plan as required by the MDE and to update it with the current recommended health guidelines.
Support.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Ed?
aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. It is approved. Becky, would you like to do the meeting next? The 1221 meeting motion?
Certainly. I move that we remove the December 21st board meeting of the 2020 school year.
Support.
Oh,
We'll give it to Ed.
Ed.
Yes, Ed.
Ed.
What?
Yeah, give it to Ed.
All right, roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The 1221 meeting is removed from our
And we
schedule.
thank you for your service, Ed. It's been great having you on the board.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ed.
It was nice to have someone with experience step in for the short time. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Ed.
No problem. Anytime. Just make it less than 2 years. Okay. So-
Right. I understand.
Okay, appointment of board members.
I make a motion that I hereby move to appoint Lynn Davis to fill the vacant board position, which is a partial term ending December 2022.
Do we have a second? Okay, no support. Motion dies. Could I get another motion, please?
I hereby move to approve to appoint Kevin Johnson to fill the vacant board position, which is a partial term ending December 2022.
Support.
Roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tim?
No.
Ed?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
And the chair will abstain from voting. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
It got quiet, sorry. All right, appointment is made. On to our consent agenda. Ms. Brooks?
I hereby move to approve the consent agenda, which includes the following items: minutes from the regular board meeting of November 23rd, 2020. In addition to that, we also have the November 2020 monthly check registry. Support?
Support.
Thank you, John. Roll call vote. Becky?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Suzanne?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The consent agenda is approved. Rick, we're on to our superintendent's report.
Okay, I'll be brief because I set the over under tonight at 9:07 with Terry. So I got 17 minutes to get it done.
You go, Rick. Get her done.
Please don't take all that.
I won't. The policy update, one of the goals was to try to get the policy manual updated by the end of the calendar year. We have all of our suggested edits made. We weren't able to pull together the policy committee to get that done. So it'll come up now with the December meeting, second December meeting canceled. It'll come up in January. But that will conclude all of the policy updates. And then we will move on to filling out the administrative guidelines. So the series 7,000, 8,000, and 9,000 edits have been made, and the policy committee will meet prior to the first January meeting to come to the board with a recommendation for those updates. So we made good progress within a year. We came in a year ago and we were behind about 4.5 years on policy updates. So, essentially the policy manual is the owner's manual for the district, and it's the go-to for all the questions. So be a nice thing to have updated and in place moving forward. The new website launched, certainly more visibly pleasing. If you were used to the last site, there's some retraining for people in terms of trying to find what it is that they were looking for, but very much nicer to look at. The live feed gives us constant new information for families. So pretty proud of that. Victor came on as a communications director and has quickly become kind of an expert in website design. Still noticing some things on pages that were pulled over from the old page, old language. I gave him some more things to go through today that he got updated. So there is still a little bit of weeding to do in the garden, but you know, things are looking a lot better than they were previously. I did receive an email late last week from Apple telling us that everything looks good for the Apple Store, so that we can announce that the app is available on both platforms. So we'll be getting that information out probably over the holidays, so that people can use the phone-based version of our webpage through the app. And then lastly, just want to remind the board that the recreational millage renewal, which is the quarter mill that the board collects for the support of the pool, needs to be renewed in May. So we will be making sure that we stick to the timeline that has to be met to get on that May ballot, and then use as much of the time as we can between now and then to educate voters that this is not any kind of a new taxation. This is for the maintenance of our coveted community pool. And that helps supply us with the lion's share of the budget for the operation of that pool. So we'll provide all the information that the board needs, and we'll have it on as a discussion item in January. Okay, that's all I have.
Rick, on that recreational thing, that was 5 years ago that was put in.
Yes, yeah, it's a 5-year renewal. So the last time that was voted on would be 5 years from this coming May.
Okay. One of the things when we first started that, I don't know whether it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. One thing I would love to see as a voter next time around is, what have you done with that money over the course of the 5 years? You know, voters like to see, you know, I'm paying I'm doing this quarter mil. What did you use it on? And can you specifically show that, you know, in your discussion of why you need to renew it? Show us where you used it. And I think you'd have a better chance of everything passing.
Yeah, and it is almost completely operational dollars. You know, it doesn't collect enough money to address large maintenance projects or upkeep. It helps us to run the pool and keep it operational. So we'll be clear about what it is that money goes to, and you know, how it supports the pool being open.
Okay, and then apparently then the maintenance and such of the pool is coming out of the general budget, correct?
It isn't, unless we address it through you know, any grants or donations. It's general fund money.
Yeah, so I mean, even that, showing that not only is it just running the schools, but running the pool, but we also support it via other means within the general budget. You know, that's what I'm saying, is if it can be shown out there in black and white, it's going to be easier to sell.
Right. Okay.
Moving back to the policy, we have the 7, 8, and 9,000 policy updates upcoming. Earlier this week, there was some questions about some language in the policy. It seemed a little clunky or hard to understand. We've just approved a lot of that language, and we knew that when we updated it, we may be revisiting it. So if any board members or if anyone in administration comes across language that doesn't make sense or seems a little clunky and we want to discuss it, let's put that out there and make sure that it gets on the discussion item so we can update the language to better suit our needs or our interpretation on our policy. Okay.
Right. Just to clarify what I said earlier, once we get through the 9,000 series, we won't be done. We'll just be caught up, and then continue to review and refine language with updates over time, but we will always stay caught up now. We won't be years behind.
All right, that'll bring us items for the next agenda. Well, we'll have good news, discussion items, and action items. Rick, did you have anything specific to add for the next agenda? I believe it'll be January at this point. So we will have our organizational meeting and we'll start the new year off, scheduling meetings for the rest of the year and running off again with board meetings.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is that our high school is a site in the county emergency management plan for use and could be part of vaccine for the county, a site for vaccine to be implemented. So just received that update today that they wanted to remind all the sites that are in that county EMC to just be ready in case they're called on. So as I hear more about that possibility, I'll inform the board.
All right, thank you, Rick. Takes us to our closing. We had a public comment on open topics and we did not have anyone contact me about open topic public comment. Board member discussion. Ed?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, thank you. 3 months, 2.5, whatever, was fine. I appreciate being asked to do it. Rick, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. I guess the only parting thoughts I'd have is, one of the main reasons I took this is I kind of left on a crappy note when I left the board with my letter of resignation and such. And it was kind of nice to come back for a few months, leave on a little more, happy note, okay, for a better word, okay. And I think you guys are doing a great job. Let's just keep it up. It's a far cry from what we had before, okay. The only thing I'd have to say is, Rick, you're doing a great job. And we as board members all have to remember, going back to the 101, 102, 103, all that board education, is that we do two things. And one is to hire the superintendent. And when you talked about policy, that's what we do. We set policy, we hire the superintendent, let him do his job when it comes to any other people that work in the district, and let him make his decision. So good luck, Rick. Go from there.
Thanks, Ed. You're held in high esteem by this superintendent, and I appreciate your service.
Okay. Thank you.
We all appreciate
We do
you.
appreciate it.
We
Thanks,
greatly
Ed.
appreciate you.
Thank
Scott.
you.
Never know, I might get a puppy soon and come and see you.
That's fine. I might be retired soon too if this COVID crap keeps up. But anyways, but like I was kidding around. I says, I could be the Bortnicek of the board. That whenever you need me, I'll be back. Just like Mrs. Bortnicek. But please don't ask me for anything more than a year. Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot.
You were a great inspiration for us when we were kind of feeling a little beaten down, and so I always appreciated that about you from before, and then it was great having you come back and be a part of this, and as you said, leaving on a happier note, and I'm so happy for that.
Yep.
So thank you again, and
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
And if we need you in the future, we won't hesitate.
Yeah, just don't talk to my wife first. She'll
Okay.
Okay. So.
And just to kind of put it out there, during the election, I had Lynn Davis's sign in my yard. I
did too.
Yeah, and I hope she realizes it is absolutely nothing personal. We are in the middle of a lot of restructure and things going on that we have had a very involved board president that doesn't necessarily get out in the public a lot. And so people may not realize all that's going on behind the scenes that he does and keeps together. And so that is really important to understand, that it's not necessarily that no one, wants that person or this person. I hope they all do run in the next election, even though I understand now it's 2 years, my apologies. But there is a lot of things going on right now that Kevin has been an integral part of. And it's important for the continuity and to keep things on that even keel for a little while, for him to be a part of that to continue, in my opinion.
piggyback off that, Becky. And I wanted to thank all the people that put in their applications for this seat, because it is a commitment. It's a big commitment. And I think it's awesome that all those people came out and tried to get that position. And I would encourage all those people to run at the next election. And what you said, I mean, people don't realize the job that Kevin has done and what an amazing president he's been for this board. And, you know, it's a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that you just, if you're not a part of this group, you don't see how much time and effort he puts into it. So Kevin's doing a great job, and I think it's important for him to be here.
He's not one to toot his own horn, so we're just going to have to do it.
We're tooting it for him.
Gee, thanks. Ed, personally, thank you very much. It was wonderful having you. Your years of experience showed, and it was great to have those discussions with you about what had been, what is now, and just school board in general. I appreciate it greatly, and you'll be on the top of our list to call again, that's for sure.
Okay. Not too soon. Okay. So, thank you.
All right. That'll bring us to our adjournment for the night. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Good luck,
Everyone
guys.
have a great night and a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Merry
Thanks.
Christmas.
Have a good one.